Hello, and welcome to some more Dyson Sphere Program. Coming in a bit hot today. I just got back from, well, this morning I went to see The Batman. Not any Batman, but The Batman. It's a long film, for 2.25 hours, and obviously there's all the trailers and adverts before it. So got in the theatre at 10. The showing was meant to start at 10:10. Got in at 10 and didn't leave till 1:30. So what's that? It's 3.5 hours. I'm of a sufficient age that my bladder doesn't really last that long anymore. So I was desperate for the conveniences, shall we say, afterwards. There could well be a problem with this series, this stream. Let's see if I can get that rearranged so that I've got all the tools to... Why is that doing that? Silly thing. Basically, an hour before the end of the stream last week, something froze up. The audio's still on there, but the video is just completely static. The problem with that is it's difficult for me. I find having the actual stream live, so I keep the OBS thing, but that's literally instantaneous. That's, as it's happening. And I find it a bit distracting to have the game, the Twitch stream itself. Sorry, I'm just strapping my hand up with the old carpal tunnel, and we'll get started. But I find it a bit distracting with having the stream there. It's also slightly difficult. So I don't like to see the numbers of if anyone's watching, because I find that distracting as well. Plays on my mind, sort of thing. But oh dear, yes. So I only got in 20 minutes ago now. So I had to get a coffee and stuff. But yeah, so basically after an hour, because I went a bit longer as well. It was basically irrelevant. The audio still, I don't know what the heck I'm going to do with the YouTube video, the VOD. I think I might just split it up and, do a little bit intro myself saying this, there was this error. But it could be the death knell of this series is the problem. Because I can't think, there's a possibility it's something to do with the internet, but there wasn't a sort of disconnection error or anything like that. So it could be the death knell of this series in that, I always get terrible FPS because it's really, and I could turn the graphics down, but there aren't that many settings, you see. This is one of the things I'm sure will eventually come. But as you can see here, this is like the extent of the settings you've got. So we could turn anti-aliasing off, and the old SSAO, but and there's a few things we can do there, but it's not a lot of difference from what I can tell. There's not a lot of different settings, so I'm not sure what we would do basically to. Oh, that's very distracting for me. I wonder if I can just have maybe I can just have like the corner or something, so I can just check on it, because I want to just keep an eye on it to make sure it does keep running. Because the audio was fine, and so from what I can tell, OBS was pumping out signal. It's just that the video was frozen as a single image, and whether that was, due to some connection error, or I don't know, just it runs like I was going to swear then. Runs very slowly, no matter what sort of thing. I'm jabbering on, sorry. I'm coming at this at a bit of a rush. So basically, the idea for today's stream / Monday stream, Monday I'll do a longer one, I think, start at 3 and just go till whenever. But the idea of this stream and Monday stream is to do the purple and yellow science, because then, the purple and green science. When we do green science, we'll do the, the better warper recipe as well, because I actually started to run out of warpers, but I went back home and added some more, just extended the lines basically. I really need to sort out the home planet. It's a bit of a mess. But yeah, we do purple science hopefully today. We may not get through all of it because I've not set these planets up properly. I finally worked out how to do the blueprints for these. I don't know what the problem I was having was. But But these are the blueprints for the North and South Pole, so they're easy to put down now. But I've not exploited any of these planets at all. But we don't actually need that in order to set the purple up, because I could just order in all the materials, which I do anyway. It just means that it will be bringing all of the resources in remotely rather than these local planets, I say, because I've not set them up at all. Now I think the question really is where I want to build it, because we do need silicon, you see. Both of these have silicon. That one has a tiny amount of coal and that one has a tiny amount of coal, so that doesn't make any benefit. I mean, that one is completely free of ocean. So we've got, you know, 100% building area. It's not very well powered though. We've got a low wind ratio. Better solar, but that's still not great. I think it's got the you know, the South Pole and North Pole on it. I'm not sure it's going to make a lot of difference really looking at both of those. Let's go for the Ashen Jelly Soul then, so we want to go there. I'm on this planet because this was the last one where I put the the end caps on. But say I haven't. Well, we might get here and I found I have exploited some stuff, but to the best of my knowledge, I've not done any of these purple ones. I just didn't get time this week. Oh, that's better. Yeah. Oh, it has got. You can actually see it on there. You see the blue bit on there. Let's see if we can find where would be a nice bit of space to build this. Well, this is quite. Oh, there we go. This is perfect here. Because I'm doing my usual thing where I put the science on one thing and then we can sort of build the feed-ins from around it, because they're a lot more complicated for purple and green. Which is why I'm not 100% sure we'll get through it, but today. But we'll give it a go. We'll give it a go. Oh, I didn't. The other thing I need to do, sorry, which I haven't done, is set up the calculator. So if I click on here, because I'm not well versed enough in the numbers yet to sort of just know roughly how much we need. So in fact, I'll just show you. So if I bring that up, and we can switch over to the, because it's not that complicated, but pop on Factorio Lab. There we go. So if I switch this screen, what would that be? That would be full screen? No, that's the wrong one. Screen capture. There we go. There we go. Yes, so it's just Factorio Lab, the Factorio Lab calculator. I prefer this one for Factorio to the Kurt McDonald. I find the Kurt McDonald does, the way it does the beacon stuff, a little bit confusing. And this just groks better with my brain. But it's also got the Dyson Sphere Program and satisfactory calculators. So what you have to do with this is obviously pick which cube you're going to do. We're doing purple today and we're going for 120 a minute. Even though we're planning on doing 60, that covers us for transit time and all that sort of stuff. We then need to pop open the settings and set what proliferator preferences we want. So we want to prefer extra products. We also want to have default as the blue machines, because I'm just using blue machines now. Arc smelters, we're not going with the level 2 smelters, that's fine. Proliferator self-spray I'll put on, but that's sort of irrelevant because that's all. We probably need a proliferator planet at some point. Default transport belt. I didn't know what these were to start with, but it's stacked basically, so it's the stackers. So I'm not using stackers, so we'll just go with level 1. Chemical fuel, I'm sure is relevant if you're doing that, but I'm not. So so this basically tells me how many factories I need to do 120 science, and as you can see, 120 a minute. As you can see, it's a nice round number, 16. But it also tells me the number of things to feed in, basically. So we need to feed in processors, which then need to be made from circuit boards and these microcrystallines. Circuit boards are obviously iron and copper. I think copper's been aggregated because it's also used with these ones. So what we can what I normally do is just turn one of them off. No, you're not? Huh. Why has that not become part of that? Maybe it's used in... Oh, it's used in both of those, so it's not relevant. And basically, I just switch those on and off as I need to know, you know, what the recipe is. So that's all I'm basically doing when I'm staring into the middle distance. So we need 16 purple labs, basically. And it's only actually got 2 components that feed into it, so it's not that complicated in terms of the science build. But obviously we need to then build everything to support around it. Why has that not worked? There we go. I'm not sure why is the... Oh, I'm set over the top of the... Because you couldn't see this display here, it's because I'm over the top of it in the screen capture version. Right, let's flick that over there. This is all getting a bit complicated, to be honest with you. Right, and then that's like that. Yeah, I need to think about how I'm going to do that. Because I know a lot of these streamers, they have like a vertical monitor that they use just for the chat. And like a second machine for... Because I've actually got like 3 PCs, but only one of them's really up to the job of doing anything. What's like 3 PCs? 2 PCs and a laptop. Right, I'm not going to bother landfilling this, I don't think. I'll probably do tidying up like that as a separate activity. But we want, in fact, let's have a look which has got the most. So if we build it here, that gives us basically this entire quadrant, because I'm not fussed about the stone at all. I said before, we've got so much stone, it's almost comical. It's got to be that they're going to use it in the combat or something like that, because, you know, I mean, coal is actually a bigger concern than the no, that's the wrong one. Than the stone. I'm not going to set those yet, I don't think. No, but we will get the proliferation juice in, I think. So we want a couple hundred of that. Want you in there. Why are you not bringing... Oh, because it's not charged, so they can't bring it because it's not charged, because I don't think the one with the proliferation stuff in has got any bots in, basically. So I guess it's the same very basic design. I think I'm going the opposite way to this one, though, on the other planets. So if we do, say, the circuits out there, and then that one out there. Now I could do... Oh, I haven't got any labs. Okay, let's order up some labs. Don't suppose it's got... No. I was hoping we might have labs already on order, but no. They might take a little while to get here, to be honest with you, because we are a reasonable sort of distance away. So what can we do in the meantime? Not much, really. We could go and start the other builds, I guess. So, they're going to be in these quadrants here, or rather in this quadrant here. We might as well just inset it a bit. And the first thing we need to make is the circuits. These guys, or processors rather. Now they're just made from circuit boards and microcrystallines, and we'll do separate builds for each of them, as we have been for everything else. So we'll do microcrystallines and circuits. But the question is, how many do we need? And the answer to that question is 5.2, which is obviously 6. Now, I suppose there's the question of proliferation, isn't there? Let's think about, if I then need a build for circuits, that requires copper and iron, I think. Yeah, copper and iron. We then need one for microcrystallines. And microcrystallines are silicon and copper. So we've not got a spare slot yet. That's where I'm going with this. So and that's there too. We'll then need copper and silicon and iron smelting. Okay, so we need, say, copper, silicon, and then we go into a discontinuity, which is a little bit annoying. Maybe there we move to. Okay, so what we could potentially do is silicon is almost worth. I mean, it's not, but it is, so maybe we'll proliferate it, but we could use this one as the... In fact, I should put that as the raw silicone. So if we order in the proliferation here, I'm not going to set it up initially if it turns out that's how we want to do it, sort of thing. Then, you know, we'll switch to doing that, but have we got our labs in? Can I do that bit? But yeah, so we can take the proliferation out of the middle one. Like that, yeah, there we go. It's a bit of a nonsense, this. I really wish you could set how many you wanted properly, because, you know, it's bringing me 600 labs, because there are 600 labs. But I don't, you know... I've set it to 100, just bring me 100, but there's no way of setting a maximum, basically. It's really quite annoying, if I'm totally honest. Right, so what we want to do here is pretty much what we did before. The question, I suppose, is, am I just going to do 2 stacks of 8? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, we might as well. Oops. That's it. So I need 16 labs, and it's brought me whatever it was, 600. There's no way for me to stop it. Well, there is, I think. You can basically use like a chest system to like return them and stick them in there, but I don't know. It's all a bit... The trouble with that is it gets really complicated when you're doing what I'm trying to do of essentially recycling things. But yeah, it's just a bit of a pain. Especially since, I mean, why can't we just type in the number? That's what I want to do. Unless you can, and I'm just being a doofus. No, you can't set the number, you see. If we could just type in the number, it could be whatever we want. And then we'll also have a max, but it's not that complicated. Right, so maybe if we put the... oh no, I've put everything into one, haven't I? In that case, maybe we clear that one out of there. I was planning on having 2 anyway, but I'll set it up to do 1. Right, so if we put this more... Because that doesn't have to feed in, does it? Oh, that's right. I was offsetting them. Yeah, okay. Let's just get rid of this thing. Right. So if we say that the labs need to be sort of more central, what does that look like? So if a lab was... Let's space it out using labs. So if a lab was there, would that work for the belts? Yeah, so we could have that belt out there, that one out there, and then this is the next one. Like that. It's a bit far away, isn't it? Maybe we do that. Because I don't think we're going to need that much room for proliferation. And then return the output. Yeah, let's use another lab to space it. And then we want another one of these. And if I just sort of maybe line it there, so that the belts all go in nicely. I think they're all slightly different, these, but that's fairly normal for me, that. As in the different ones on different, you know, for different sciences are different. Now I could order the proliferation in here, couldn't I? Now let's order it in here. So we want 200. Boop. Command. Cool. And then we want 2 of these. And then we want to just come out of here. Go up. Oh, that's not quite worked. We'll go out here then. And then up. And then across. Is there going to be enough room for a power? Not there. But we can put one in there. Okay. Well, this one doesn't really need to be powered, really, but that's fine. So I've got them in there. It doesn't need drones because it's a supplier. I guess we could put these to demand, but I say they're not available, so it'll just fill up the proliferation stuff for the time being. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Awesome sauce. First one going in with the old proliferation stuff. Okay, so we can. I mean, you're a demand, aren't you? So we can give you. I guess I should order some more drones as well. Did I turn the? I did. So if we put this on drones, want plenty of these though. Demand those in. Whoops. Oh, that's not good. I've just knocked my coffee on my microphone and spilled it everywhere. That'll teach me for not paying attention. That's unpleasant. I'll just finish it off so it's no longer an issue. But now I'm covered in coffee. Brilliant. Brilliant. This is really going well today. Right. Armchair's wet. Chair of the arms wet. Okay. Calm down. Right. So, processors are those two. And how many of them do we actually need? This is the big question. Just check I am still live. I'm a bit paranoid about it now, but we shall see. Yeah, it's all still working. Oh, what was that? So we need 6 with proliferation. Excuse me. Okay, 6. So we need 6 of these, and we can, I guess, just put them in a row, really. So we'll leave a little bit of space for the old proliferation. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6. That's 6. Right. So we have, say, oh, they're too far over. Nuts. Why are you too far over? So, have we got any ratios on these? 2 and 2 making 1, so all even, basically. So we don't need multiple rows, and I mean we wouldn't. No, got the wrong thing. We wouldn't anyway, because they're high-level belts, but it's worth checking just to be sure. And then this wants to be the processors, and this can be the return. Proliferators are under where? I always forget. There we go. So then those two coming out. So we'll hook all these up first and then, you know, kind of turn it all on at the same time and discover all the errors in one go. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Super. Super duper. Okay. Next one then is the circuit boards, which are coppers and irons. Now it is 2 to 2 to 1, so we could think about doing some extra belts, but we only need 2 of them. We'll put 3 in because that's proliferate. Am I going to proliferate? I might as well. So I only need 2, basically. Okay, let's just do that then. So, copper, iron, circuits coming back again. Let's grab you, just because I know that one works. Why are you not doing that? Okay. So try and line it up again. There and there. And it's missed. Brilliant. There. And this actually wants to be circuits. So iron and copper. And we want 2 of them. So I think I'll put a 3rd one in just because, basically. Why is that not? Huh, don't know what's wrong there. Right, so then we want 6 microcrystallines. Yeah, okay. So we want 6 of those. So exactly the same arrangement because it's just a two recipe thing, but it's 6. Is that rounded up enough? Might do a 7th actually. It's to try and account for like transit time of the drones and delays and stuff, but it's off kilter again. Why does that keep happening? There. There, my roboty friends, there. Yeah, we'll pop 7 in. 2, 4, 6, 7. Somebody check that maths, I'm not having the best of days. Microcrystallines. Copy that down again. I like to have the belts poking out because it's easier to connect any. Did you copy and paste it? Or I think. Why has it done that again? Will you stop offsetting them? Right, so that's all the sort of, feeding up materials. Now we need the basics. Or do I? What I could do, in fact, instead, is make the particle broadband. I mean, these ones are super dull, basically, because it's just things that are smelted, things that are stuck into assembly machines, and that's it. The particle broadbands are more complicated because you need the silicon, which is the double smelt. You need, blah 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 blah. So that's a bit more complicated. What I'm just wondering is that could I use some of these iron and coppers? So it's 4 iron, 16. So it's 4, 5, and 16. Well, 4, 5, and 17. If I turn that off again, then it's still 4, 5, and 13. So it's the silicon that goes higher because obviously it's the silicon crystals. But we're going to do that by direct feed. Are we? No, I want to proliferate it, don't I? So it'd probably be easier just to stick it all in together. So we want 17 smelting here. Oh, I didn't even set these up. And then we want 5 smelting here. And 4 smelting here. Let's put them the same way around to be consistent. So if I put bots in as well, for them, they're done then. So not powered and not running and stuff, but we need to do the proliferation. So, and I think I am going to proliferate everything just because, basically. Or am I? I mean, we could just stick in even more. If I turn the proliferation off, what numbers does it give me? Let's have a look. So if I turn that off, so none, it goes up to 6.2 for copper, so 7. So that's not massively painful, is it? If we turn it off for silicon, well, that goes up quite a bit actually. So we will proliferate the silicon, because it's a scale thing basically, and it goes up to 4.1. So for iron, so we won't do those two. We will do silicon. So silicon, we want 14 here. So we want. Is that going to be okay? Because it's 2, isn't it? Because I need 26. Yeah, oh, but it's 2 seconds, isn't it? So a belt of silicon will be okay, I think. So it'll be quite long, though. And then... well, we want the proliferation on. No? Like that. That's the out, isn't it? Yeah. So we'll go here. We'll do it here in case... so it'll be easy to stick a splitter in if I suddenly decide we want to do the iron and copper for whatever reason. Or we need to take it further down or something. So we want to take this all the way down. Cool. We could set this up, so we want... let's put it on 300 as it's doing quite a few. It won't, I say, it won't do anything until the bots have got some charge. Am I going to double side this? I mean, it's got 17, wasn't it? No, 14. So I don't really want to do 14 that way. So we'll do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then double side them. That's a bit tidier. Right, so it wants to be just making silicon. Actually, that's a bit close. You get an odd effect, and I think it's a bug, so I imagine they'll probably fix it. But you get an odd effect where if these are too close to the proliferators, it doesn't necessarily... they can sort of pick the items up before they're proliferated. 2, 4, 6, 7. There we go. So that's 14. I mean, you get... it's more... you can see it, basically, because you get janky belts, but... but yeah, it's just something worth being aware of. So we want in there, out there, and that should be rotationally symmetric. It probably would be, except it doesn't like the spacing. So in there, out there. Oh, copy the recipe over. Thing down. Excelente. No. Delete the bell. Come on. Now, could I just copy that? I think I could just copy that because we need 5. Yeah, let's just try and see if I can. Oh, it's not much point, is there? So this is copper. So I need 7 of those. Which is why I was saying copy it, but I don't think it really gains as anything. But... oops, wrong one. And we'll switch this to copper. Same number, 2, 4, 6, 7. Super duper. If I put bots in these. Bots, no. Oops. Let's put the bots in there preemptively. I'm sure they'll have brought me some replacements by now. Iron out of there. And so we want this to be iron, and we want 6. No, we don't. We want 4. Well, we want 5, but we want 4.1, but we'll put 5 in because that's how maths works. Okay. All right, let's start powering this up and see what happens. Oh, I need to put these on demand as well, don't I? So that's demand. That's demand. That's demand. That's a supply, that's a demand. 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 Okay, now we need to set all of that up over here. So you need to be ordering in... I say we've got these locally, but I've not set that up. So actually let's do it in the correct order. We're not going to need stone, silicon. We probably will need coal, but we'll think about that later. That's it, isn't it? So iron, copper and silicon. Did you bring me some bots? You did. Let's grab some of them. What about belt? We should probably set that on order. I can put them away. I mean, if we get done with this, I mean, the other one's going to take a while because it's a lot more complicated, but get done, we will move on to the green science, but that's even less set up than the other one, basically. You see, that's not got any bots in it, so they couldn't bring it over. It should have 10 in. It doesn't remember the bots in like the recipes. Right, so we want that, I guess, for remote demand. So it's tons of it in loads of other planets. So, you know, we're not robbing this out of some system that's desperate for it. I have set up so much production of iron ore, copper ore, and silicon. And I'm working on raws, so I'm doing everything pulling in raw material. Maybe that's a terrible idea. That's one of the things I'm trying to experiment with. Because you could have got smelt it, you know, you could smelt it into, particularly for iron, well, excuse me, particularly for copper. That probably makes complete sense. But for iron, it's a bit more of a complicated picture because you don't make, you make magnets from raw iron. So if I put you there, you're going to get everybody? There. Yeah, so you have to actually sort of work out how much you need of everything, which is fine, but I say my thought for this is to just go dumb, basically, and just send the raw materials around, and then I can turn it into what I need, basically, where I need it. That's my theory. It's less efficient for the silicon and stuff, because obviously, you know, 2 bits of silicon become 1 silicon bar, sort of thing. But I'm kind of assuming that's probably not going to be an issue, but don't know, we will see. We can also boost up the carrying capacities of everything, but you get some odd effects when you do that, because the thing where basically, so at the moment the interplanetary ones carry 600, and if these are set at like 100%, then they won't fly until there's 600 available. And obviously it only takes, what's that then? Is that, because you've got 10, so there's, at the moment there's only 6,000 that it can maximally transport at a single time, but you can, like, I think it's more than double that, so it becomes like 12,000 in transit. And of course you can have an effect where it takes them sufficiently long to bring it in that they've already used it up, if that makes sense. So they're literally using it at the rate, you know, that you, or more faster than you're able to bring it in. And the way around it is actually to set the amount lower rather than higher, which is what you might expect. So we've got iron and copper running. We've got silicon happening. Proliferation is happening over here. We don't appear to be bringing copper to both of these. We're not getting this weird effect again, are we? Where it prefers the longer distance one. That would be interesting if we are. You see that one's just nipped across to that one, even though it's already got plenty. Where are you going? No, you're going to the furthest one again. There's some weird like mechanic in the logic, and that's going to the further one again. I mean, this was built first. Maybe it's to do with the build order. But you see, that one's gone to it as well. You see what I mean? So no copper has been delivered here at all. Nope, still going to that one. But I can't see how it would have any preference because I've not touched these at all. No, still got no copper. No, it's taking it there again. Just a minute, I don't. Why is it doing that preference? I mean, it's only moving tiny numbers. It's, you know, because these are set at 10%. No, still going there. It's like it has to hit some kind of threat, even though it's set to 5,000. The other one's set to 5,000, so they should be an identical demand. It doesn't seem to be a logic in the game for saying take it to the closest one, or maybe the logic is take it to the furthest one, or the one that was built or set up first. And maybe it has to iterate through a bunch of times, but it's like it has to get a certain amount of stuff there before it'll go to this one. You see, there's literally none. It's not made a single one of these. And yet I've not set anything to cause that preference. The drones are literally just doing it on their own. It's fascinating, but a bit confusing. No, still not bringing the copper in. And we can partly solve it if we probably doubled this up. Which I probably do, to be honest with you. Because it's not exactly a massive burden on our supply. But yeah, it's fascinating that it sort of brings oh, the things are the wrong way around, aren't they? If I do that and then do it over the top, will it work? No. Okay. Alright, so you're just taking it out again. Oh, why are you doing that? There you go. I keep thinking I'm doing them rotationally symmetrical, but I'm not. Because obviously it's a, you know, one in, one out system, so. So that's doubled our production. Has it, mate? No, it's not brought a single piece of copper this way. How very strange. It is. I'm not just imagining. I'm not being completely biffed. No, they're both set to demand. This is on max. How very odd. I mean, eventually, you know, this will fill up, sort of thing. And then, you know, this will fill up. And so eventually it will have to start bringing them in. But I don't get why... It's just literally every single piece is going to that one. How very odd. I wonder what happens if I set this to basically full. So don't bring any more. Will it start doing it here? What? Oh, there we go. So it's finally brought a bit of copper there. So that's filled the belt. So let's put this back up and see what happens. Does it suddenly switch all favour this one again? Or does it favour this one until it's full? We've got 70 there. We've still got... No, we're back to 0 here. Yeah, I don't know what the logic is there. I do not know what the logic is. Okay. So that is something to puzzle about, I think. I mean, we're not even making any purple cubes yet, so you know, yeah, that's not a problem. But yeah, a little bit odd. A little bit odd. Right. So we are happy. We are now making processors. So we now need to look at particle broadband, which is a whole more complicated thing. We'll build that. Where should we build that? We will build that. Let's see. I think we'll build it maybe on this side. I might split it because it is quite. And we're going to do the whole quite possibly stupid thing I keep doing of doubling everything up. You know, using the alternate recipes. So it's probably very, very dumb, but you know, it's an experiment basically. Right, so we want this one here, I guess. I'm not sure why I've left gap there, but I've left a gap there, so we'll do the same. Now let's make the particle broadbands. I don't think this has an alternate recipe, does it? I've only got one way of making that. Oh, and it's actually got three things, hasn't it? In which case, let's use one of these. We can also then bring the proliferation stuff in. Maybe if I put that... Oh, it's too close. If I put that halfway, and then the next one of these will probably end up where it was going to be before, roughly? No? Oh, no, that's a bit further over, isn't it? But there you go. Right, so that would have been... yes, so this is particle broadband. We can also bring the proliferation in now for this side of the equation. So we want... What do we want? We want crystal silicon, plastic. Is that right? Crystal silicon. Oh, we want carbon nanotubes. And we want plastic. Yes. Plastic. Now I need 7 machines making this. So we also want proliferation. Let's bring, say, 300 in there. Put some bots in. Cool. All of these want to be storage. I don't want to, you know, I want to use my hub and spoke idea. I don't want to have ones, you know, bringing it in. So we want demand on all of those. And that. Super duper. Now we got 4 things. 4 belts. So maybe if I put these on this side this time. Oops. Is that lined up? There we go. So I'll put the first one there. Give me plenty of room. So we have maybe... Because what ratios does the recipe actually require? 2 to 1. Okay. So it's not heavy. There's not one with a million things. And we're only bringing in 7. So we're talking... Yeah, these aren't even a belt's worth of stuff. So it's not going to be a problem. I'm thinking we take the inputs out of there. And that one. And then the return can be... Would it more sense? It'd be more sensible if it's that one. Oops. And then I can have the proliferation coming out of that one. Where are they now? Let's try and line these up so it's at least a little bit neat. So it's that one, I think. That line? Yeah. I mean, I could just bring it over, but you know, we don't want to strain that one too much. Okay. Well, we wanted 7 of these, I think, so I need a bit more length. Teeny bit more length. Let's get it belted first. So, in. I suppose just to say what I thought of the film. I'm not entirely sure, but the trouble is I'm not entirely sure this is the Batman. The one and only Batman. I'm not entirely sure what I did think of the film. It felt a little bit all over the place, if I'm honest. Well, I didn't dislike it, I enjoyed it, but I don't know, it felt... So I really like the Joker. You know, the most recent one. I actually thought maybe they were setting up that it could be in the same universe. You know, that could be the Batman's the Joker, because it's just tonally quite similar in the sense that it's a more realistic, I suppose you'd say gritty, but it wasn't that gritty really. But it was a more realistic sort of take on bats. No, I don't want to do that. Why have you done that? Yeah, you know, that sort of bit more grounded, you know, than some other versions, which I tend to prefer. But there's always a very difficult thing with Batman because he's basically a fascist. But they kind of struggle with presenting him like that, because he always just, I mean, you know, he's never tackling, well, he does, I suppose, because there's, you know, supervillains and stuff, but there's never tackling the roots causes. You know, he's a rich person defending the property of the rich. It's all a bit fascist, really. But they didn't really explore that. What they did, actually, was sort of explored a little bit. And you do get some of the comics explore some of that stuff. But this doesn't seem right to me somehow. I think it is. We got all the things. Yeah. So I think what I'll do first, because I think all of them have alternate recipes, don't they? Because carbon nanotubes we can make from the spiny forms. Crystal silicons we can make from the fractal crystals. And plastic... Well, no. Plastic doesn't have an alternate recipe, is that right? No. But we got to do cracking and stuff to make it, haven't we? Which means we're going to have to get rid of the carbon. That might be quite useful, actually, because there's a real threat of like our coal being too small, basically. But that's 3 and... I'll have to... we'll work that out later, but... Well, no, basically these two have alternate recipes, so we've got... These crystal silicons could be made directly from the old fractal silicons. And the... Why does that not look... Oh, no, it's 1.5 sections, isn't it? Right, and then the carbon nanotubes can be made from the... What? What are they made from? I've forgotten. Carbon nanotubes, the alternate... Oh, it's the spiny forms, okay. Oh, in fact, that's why I picked this system, I remember, because you can make them from spiny forms, and we've got spiny forms in this system. So if we set these to demand, like that, cool. And then we can set this over here to start bringing those in. I mean, there are, I say, this is why I'm building it, you know, in this system, because we've got both fractals and then the other planets got spiny forms on. Right, so it's just that also fits nicely with the gaps that we got here, so we can demand those in. So they're mined up in loads of places. It's not like we've got none elsewhere, but say I'm hoping that it'll be a bit smart about it and kind of bring them in locally rather than interstellar. Okay, so it's very, very simple. If I switch this over, because it defaults to like the normal... Oh, what are you doing? There you go. In default... No, it's done it again. Dyson Sphere Program was a weird thing where it like pulls the mouse, basically. So a track pulls the mouse over. Recipes. So we want to turn the crystal silicon off. And then turn the fractal version on. And to do that, we need 1.1. So we need 2. So it's pathetically small. But it's a better recipe, I think. You need slightly more, I think, you know, raw silicon, as it were. So if we pop this out of here. That's way too long, but there we go. And then get some smelters in. And then That's converting. Or does it not do them in? Yes, it does. There we go. Oh wait, what? What machine do you do? Oh, you do them in assemblers. Oh, okay. 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 Missed. You do them. Oops, you do them in assemblers. Assembler. Which is probably why we need less, actually, rather than it being a better recipe. It's just that these are quicker. So input, output. Second one. No. Second one. Get off the belt. Proliferation. Which line are we on? We are on that line. There. I guess my main feeling about Batman when I came out of it was I thought it felt like a low budget film. It felt like a a spam bot. Best followers, primes and viewers on Marvellous than that. I presume that's a hyperlink. Return of the spam bots. Not had one of them for a while. So I've forgotten how to ban them. If I do that, and then oh, it doesn't let me do it without doing that. No, that didn't work. No. Get there a minute. Hang on. Do block. Is that right? Manage the suspicious user. Okay. I'm not quite sure I understand what that is. There we go. Marvellous. Return of the spam bots, eh? Return of the spam bots. This time it's revenge of the spam bots, I should say. This time it's personal. Right. Yes. So where were we? Yeah, no, it felt like a TV movie, as a made-for-TV movie, rather than a massive budget thing. And I looked it up. Literally, I sat down and I was like, well, I shouldn't go talking about it as if I, because it was like it felt impressive for a wrong thing. TV, you know, made-for-TV movie. So I mean, I suppose better comparison nowadays might be a Netflix, but I don't have Netflix, so I don't know how big budget they are. But oh, I need to check how many I need, don't I? Yeah, I was like, all right, well, that, you know, that was pretty good for a low budget thing. But according to Wikipedia, the budget was 185 million, or 185, because they never actually say, do they? But 185 to 200 million, and it's like, really? It didn't look like a $200 million movie. But maybe that includes the marketing, because I know it gets a bit complicated where, because it like they spend as much again on marketing as they do on like making the films. So we want 4.1. So we want 5. Maybe we do 6 and put them on either side. Because this is, it's literally just these things, isn't it? We don't have to stick in. Do we have to stick in another ingredient? No, we'll literally just turn them into carbon nanotubes. Okay. Let's do. Oh, have I got any lamps? I've not got any lamps, have I? Okay. Let's order some of them up as well then. You can tell I didn't prep for this one at all. I like to put it on 100 even though it brings a ridiculous number. Right, let's change that back and I'll grab some of those belts. Should we grab some more of the bots? Yeah. As well. We can put them in while we wait. So on 50. Oh, I've got them. I've done them. Okay. We could put the proliferator on. Get that done. I suspect it was probably such a high budget because of a relative lack of CG. It looked like quite a lot of practical effects. Particularly there's a car chase that's, I think, quite a lot that was practical. I mean, and then you probably watch the making of, and it's literally none of it was real. None of it was real, but you know, it looked like it was probably quite a lot of practical stuff. Which I think is more expensive to do nowadays. The sort of economics have flipped round, really. I don't know. It just didn't. It didn't feel particularly big. It was very, very moody. It was. I'll be honest. To me, the impression I came away with was it was basically Seven meets Crow. You know, the film with Bruce Lee's son. You know, when he died, sort of thing. It felt like it, and the thing was, the Joker was kind of like that as well. But the thing that made the Joker work for me was that the Joker himself is an unreliable narrator. And that was the whole point of it to me. I mean, maybe that wasn't really what they were, but to me it was like, well, the whole point of this film is that he's basically lying. It's the Joker telling his own origin story and just lying about it and like turning it, you know, taking things from films, basically. You know, the classic Al Pacino films and all that sort of stuff. And turning that into his own origin story. And he's just a completely unreliable narrator. And that was the point of the film to me. And that's why it sort of worked. But this just felt like them copying, you know, or to say sticking together the Crow and Seven, basically. I mean, it doesn't reveal anything plot-wise. It's not really a spoil, it's more a stylistic thing, you know, rather than... you know, they copied those plots. But yeah, it almost felt angsty in a, you know, teenage, you know, immature sort of way in a sense. Or as well, as I say, copying, you know, better films in a sense. So, which was a bit unfortunate. I was expecting. I mean, it was more Batman as an actual detective Batman, so which was quite good. We've not had that too much, I don't think, or I don't recall it too much. I'd actually say I thought the villains were better, like the comic book villains. There are other baddies in it, but the comic book villains were including, obviously, you know, Black Cat's in it, but the actual villains of the piece, as it were better than the Batman, were more interesting than the Batman. So yeah, so very mixed feelings on it, I think. It's my take. There is one caveat to that, though. I'm not sure the sound was working properly in the theatre, because the music was almost inaudible. You basically couldn't hear any music. But the fighting was ridiculously loud. So either someone's done a terrible job with the sound mix, or it wasn't quite working. Because I think that's why I didn't really, you know, connect with Batman, as it were, because there was no emotional impact to any of it. So they're dragging these in. I've not brought any over yet. I'm going to have a quick look at the old copper, see what's happened here. Okay, so it's filled up on copper, basically. And it's like the silicon that's limiting, essentially. By the looks of things, that looks like the limiting factor. But are we getting... yeah, obviously we are, because it's not using it, but yeah, that's interesting. Right, yes, so we've got those two being made via the novel means, as it were. Let's make them via the standard recipes as well, as I say, because I'm doing this whole over-the-top belt and braces way of doing things. So we'll change that recipe to regular crystal silicon. Are we going to proliferate this one? If I turn that off, what does it start looking like? So it becomes, it's 6 basically, so I think I'm fine with that. No, let's put it on, because I'm just going to pass it through, so we might as well have it on. It's not exactly a great saving, but that's fine. So we basically want 3 and... Am I going to do that? No, I'm not actually. Because I can just feed it in directly if I'm not bothered about proliferating. Oh, actually, if I'm not doing that, or if... No, what I could do is if I just bolster up the amount of silicon here and we can fly it over with bots. Yeah, let's do that. So how many extra ones do I need? I need an extra 6 basically. So how many have I got? I've got 2, 4, 6. Okay, okay. So if we just sort of... Oops. Add on, say... 8 more. Because then we've got this thing again where it may not even bring any. In which case, why don't I add on more? So is that double? So that 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. So if we add one more, gets us even more of a sort of buffer. Yeah, that'll do. So now we can order it in via drones, and we can proliferate it. So we've got that there. So here we want to order up silicone, reduce that, put some bots in, oops, demand that. And now we want, say, output here. And I only want, well, 6 of these. If that. Where have they gone now? 1, 2. Buckle my shoe. I thought they might have cleaned up the bots thing. I mean, I guess it's that classic thing of, you know, the arms race where they do something to stop the bots. Maybe they don't even bother because of that, but they do something to stop the bots, and then the bot you know, companies do something to, not companies, con men, do something to get around that, and then, you know, then they have to solve that problem, and I say, they probably realise that it's not really worth doing anything to stop them, therefore just let them, you know, let them spam in a sense. Right, so... You know, you can't have an arms race if one of the sides isn't participating in the arms race. Here you go, see. So it's not bringing it any silicon. Maybe it's because it's not charged, but I don't think it is. I think it's just not bringing any. So take that out again. Put it in there. It should be proliferating this time. Yeah, it's just not bringing it. I do not understand that at all. I do not understand how that works at all. So, that's all the silicon via all the methods. So we can disregard that. We now want to look at carbon nanotubes via the alternate recipe. Oh, no. Come on. Come on. Come on. So, carbon nanotubes. How are you making graphene there, my friend? What's your recipe for that? It's regular graphene. I don't think I'm going to go to the extent of having the fire ice graphene. We'll just use... Because we can use the graphene being made from the plastic as the offshoot from the plastic, I think. Because the ratios aren't quite there. So, what's it doing with that recipe? So that's just pure oil. And you're making that via Regular cracking, okay. I'm looking at all the oil recipes. Now, in terms of the graphene, how are you making that? You're making it from carbon. Coal. We don't want you doing that. We want you making it from X-ray cracking. And then hopefully it works it all out. So recipe X-ray cracking gives me the... So probably going to have to get rid of some hydrogen anyway. That's a bit annoying because of the X-ray cracking thing. I could always just order the graphene in, but I'm going to make it spare anyway, I think, aren't I? Because if I make it from... So plastic you make from... Don't you? Plastic you make from graphene and like the processed oil. But you get, well, this is without proliferation, but you need one graphene and one processed oil. And from out of that recipe, you get, let's try and lay it down. So these are the lamps. So this one, if we have this making plastic, then we get 2, 1, 3 seconds. In fact, it's not those, is it? Have I even got any of them? I got some oil. No, I've got extractors. Oh, nuts. I thought I had refineries. Oh, well, let's order some of them in as well then. Refineries. Refineries, there we go. So I thought those were the ones I had, but I've obviously got the oil extractors instead. That's annoying. That is annoying. Let's see if I can do it from here though. So basically the issue is that 2 and 1, it needs 2 processed oil and 1 graphene. And when you crack 2 oil, you get 2 processed oil and 1 hydrogen. So we're going to have to get rid of hydrogen, but that's fine. So we get 2. We get 1 oil every 2 seconds, basically, and we need 1 oil every 1.5 seconds. So one machine can support more than one, but we need to then take some of it and turn it into graphene. Yeah, I think I'm doing separate builds again. I was hoping I might be able to direct insert, but I don't think I can. So I'll just do separate builds and fly and get the drones to fly it over, basically. Okay. You see, it hasn't even brought a single bit of silicon. Why not? Am I being completely dumb? I don't understand why it wouldn't bring any silicon there at all. Because the range is set to 180 degrees, so it's basically the entire planet. But it's only bringing it here. Even though it's making loads of the stuff. What happened with the copper? Oh, the copper's all just completely full. It's obviously filled up. Yeah, I don't get why it sort of fixates on one thing. So the only thing I think is this is powered off, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense then. Right, where can we put this? I think we have to move to the next section. Oops. Yeah. Unfortunately, we could go over here or up there. I think I'll make the actual carbon nanotubes. Alright, I didn't do the other carbon nanotube recipe, did I? Nuts. Okay. So we need to do the normal carbon nanotube recipe. So let's do that one first. And then we can worry about... Because it's plastic that's the weird one. Oh no, we need graphene there as well. Huh. Okay. Sulfuric acid we'll just import in. But we need titanium for this. It's quite complicated, some of these recipes. Okay, so we'll have one now. And it's going to make these guys. And it's going to do that from, because the normal recipe is these guys and these guys. So that's the more complicated one. That's just smelting. So that's carbon nanotubes and sulfur. Okay, so we want another one here. And another one here. So this is going to make graphene from that and that. And then this is going to make titanium from that. Put pots in. You've got bots? You've not got bots. Have you got bots? You've got bots. But still nothing happening. Okay. Right, so, oops. So, to make those, we need those. And those. Send them back. And we'll make them in a lab, do we? Yep. And we need 4.1. I think I might just put 4 in because I've got the overproduction from the other one, which is running. Mysteries of the logic in the game are rather lost on me. So this is the regular. Oops, this is the regular recipe. Oops. Oops, if you click it. And then we want output, input. And you're going to be, oops, input, output. Hopefully that tiles, but I don't know. Right. No? Oh, they seem to work. And then a bit of proliferation. So that way around. Maybe there. Let's put it there and we'll just put a little bit of kink in. Everyone likes a little bit of a kink. Upper level. So there. No. Wrong button. That one. To there. Change it around again. No? I think that's okay. I think that's connected. Oh, so this becomes a demand, this becomes a demand. And then we're making those there, so these are going to be demands. That's going to be a demand. Okay. So, we make this in the lab as well. Yep, these are made in labs, and we want 3.7 of them, so 4. That's fine. Out there somewhere. That. Turn in that direction. Then we want laboratories. This is the recipe here. Whoops. Output. Input. So that's going to be input, output. Cool. Next one. Oh, proliferation. It's difficult to shift, control copy those, basically shift copy those sometimes. There we go, perforators. Oh, I'm stuck on a rock. I am stuck on a rock. Stuck between a rock and no rock. Up to there. Super. Next one is smelting. Smelting just needs 2 if we are proliferating it. I think it might not bother. So I'll just stick sort of 4 in or something. I think we've done quite enough proliferation of more expensive recipes, so having a bit more silicon is not a problem. So we're making them, and we want, I better just check just in case. Without proliferation, it's 2.1. Yeah, so 4's more than enough. It's one of the things I like about the calculators in particular, or especially this one. You can just easily check whether it's worthwhile or whether you're bothered about it. Proliferation, I mean. So if you care that you save, or you need, whatever it was, 3.7 machines rather than, or 2.1 machines rather than 3.7, but 2.1 you've got to round up, so you're basically going from 4 machines to 3 machines. Yeah, so that's a very clear demonstration of which ones are worth it. And obviously if it was a much bigger build, you were doing an entire planet's worth, then you might think differently, but I am not fussed about saving 2 smelters worth of titanium, given that I'm basically drowning in titanium across all my systems. Right, now in theory things would start happening, except that I've not got the things set. So what we need to do here, so those are all the basics. So what we need to do, we need to order in that as like a secondary option, not local demand, remote demand. And I've got several sulfuric acid planets set up now, so I'm not going to make sulfuric acid, given I've got about 4 sulfuric acid planets. Oh, hello, welcome Ochinoa. Hello to you too. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing well. Right, so I need to put titanium as well, I think, don't I? I don't think I've set that as being ordered. Yep, so we get some titanium in. Wait, demand. I got it wrong. Ochinoa? Apologies for misreading your name. Is that any better? Ochinoa. Okay. Apologies. I'm afraid I'm a bit terrible with usernames. I sort of reads 100. Ochinoa. So no offense intended at all. It's just you get there's some. It's quite funny sometimes when you're just reading them, seeing you're trying to pass it quickly and think about it. But you get some people's names and they're like really clever usernames and they're like puns and things like that, and you sort of end up reading them out phonetically, and it's like you make it's when you think back on it or you give yourself a minute to think about it, it's obvious, but they're like you say something bizarre and it's just a very clever way of saying hello or something like that in a it's like a pun name. I met anyone that got it right. Cool. Why do they? No, I don't know why do they get it wrong? Oh yes, Okinawa. Yeah. Yes, in Japan. Yeah. So where am I? I think I've done. I think that's the reason. Yeah. So I mean, I didn't. I'm not sure actually what I said, but But yeah, I did think it looked a lot like a Okinawa. I shouldn't really say, I guess I'm sort of doxing myself in a way, but my surname, there's a town in England, well, it's a city actually, and I have the same name as that city. So I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want to put that out there, as it were. But if my surname was London, then you would have the same surname as London. But unfortunately, there is a proper surname. What's a good example that isn't my name? Well, a bit like if there was a town called Smith, and my name was Smith, then what unfortunately happens is there's a similar surname. So, and like Smith is a surname, but there's a similar surname called Smythe, which is spelt and sounds very similar. And so what people do is they just automatically assume I'm the other one, because it's like they sort of see it. They don't, they know the city because it's a fairly famous one, and they just they assume it's not the city. If you see what I mean. So they a bit like that, as in if it was London, if I was John London sort of thing. They would think it was something else, because they think, well, it's not going to be called London, so it must be, Loden or something like that, Right, so I think that's all of those done. So what I need to set up now is the final one, which is the plastic. And since that's going to be a fairly big separate one, we'll do it over here, I think. Isn't that for 15 years, and everyone gets it wrong. See, Tech Tree, yeah, sure. There you go. So, basically, so this is my second time ever playing through the game. I played through before when it first came out, and I didn't actually build a Dyson Sphere. So the sort of purpose of this series is to actually build a full Dyson Sphere. So when I played it through first time, I did all the techs. I mean, they've obviously introduced the proliferation and stuff, but I did the mission complete. And because in order to do that, you need the white cubes, which you need the antimatter for, and blah blah blah. But you can make those using a Dyson Swarm, so that's what I did. And rather than continue on, because back then we didn't have any form of copy and paste, and I was actually getting like repetitive strain energy from all the clicking to put the inserters in, because you had to do every single one manually. And so I just said, well, I've finished, and this is, it's early access game, just launched, so, I don't need to, I don't need to do it because I'm bound to play it through again. And I started this series initially to learn how to do blueprints. You've been there too. I say it was getting horrendous. I mean, I kept saying because I actually streamed it, I think mostly on YouTube, but I kept saying, they've got to do some kind of copy and paste or something to help us out, because it was just getting painful. And so I started this because they'd introduced blueprints. And what I'm actually doing now, I'm just playing around. I'm not trying to do mega efficiency or anything, but what I'm actually setting up. In fact, I'll show you my upgrades as well. They're all up to the point where I need white cubes basically, so I've not got any of the infinite techs. And they added these on later, so I don't actually know if I can do any of these. In theory, I could have done some of those then, but I've not done any of that, and so I've just got the last few technologies. And what I'm actually trying to... Well, I'll just show you. So, I'm not actually... where the heck is my home planet? There we go. So, I've done the first couple of rows of a Dyson Spheres. There's no swarm. I've turned all that off because I don't need the power. And what I'm doing, I'm setting up each system. It's just boring, boring squares. I'm not really interested with the design. But what I'm setting... Oh, I've hit the wrong button again. There we go. What I'm setting up, basically, and I'm doing it more to test out how the logistics works, because we've got so little control of all the logistics. I don't know how sensible it all is. And there is some quirks that I'm finding, I must admit. But I'm setting each like a separate system to make each of the sciences. I'm only doing it at small volumes, though. I'm not going mega base or mega scale or anything like that. they're only doing about 120 science a minute. But it's more just to test out how smart the logistics is, and in particular, can my PC cope? Because particularly last Monday, the game froze, and I don't know if that was an internet issue or, because I mean my PC, you can't hear it because it's under the desk and stuff, but it's like really hammering the system, because it's quite, my CPU is quite old and stuff. So and as you see, I've not actually exploited that many systems, so I'm not sure my PC can run like a full-on exploit every system and do a Dyson Sphere on every Sun type megabase. So say this is more experimentation, and basically we're up to purple, and I've got basically Monday off, so between today and Monday I'm going to finish off purple and green, and then we'll go back to the home system and we'll set up white science basically, and I'll finish off the sciences, and I'll also finish off doing the thank you very much for the follow. Oh, and the goals, mate, blimey. I never thought I'd get to that, actually. I put that on as a bit of a joke. It's like my my age. Where you got? So, search stream at 2 now. VU at 60. You mean game updates at 60? That gives you an idea I am. I'm currently looking around Twitch to meet other streamers and get some ideas about what they do and compare to what I do. However, do not build too much on the logistics. Try to produce close and on-site as much as possible. Okay. Oh, vein util. Sorry, of course. Yeah. So you mean the 60th iteration of that? Wow, that's quite far in. Because it's that one, is it? Oh, right. So you got. Because I know it basically becomes infinite, doesn't it? It basically sort of renders itself, you get so much out of a single ore that you virtually don't extinguish them, I think, eventually. 500 hours, okay. 156, wow, okay. Blimey. Yeah, I mean, once I've built a sphere, this series will end, but because I don't, how to put it, I don't tend to bother. So Factorio is actually sort of my main. It's my favourite game of all time, and it's like my main streaming series, and I've got thousands of hours in that. But I don't. When I would play it through as early access, I would just get to rocket launch and basically finish. I don't bother, doing. I didn't really even bother doing mods until the game was vanilla, because I get why people do, and I'm not saying against people using mods or anything like that at all. But it's just, to me, it's like wait for them to finish the game, and then then you can do the weird and wacky stuff, because they might put things in that render old factories useless and all that sort of stuff, and I'd rather just play it to my satisfaction each time, sort of thing, if that makes sense. Welcome to the club. Thank you. So what do I need to make here? I need to make plastic, don't I? That's the only bit I haven't yet made. Yeah. And so there are some quirks, really, with the logistics that I wasn't quite expecting. It does some weird things with moving things about, so it's probably still doing it, I imagine. But there's one up here that's using silicon. Oh no, it is bringing it over now. Okay. There's like big lags, and it doesn't move things around the way I would expect, if that makes sense. I had one when I was doing the yellow science planet. Basically, I had essentially two logistics things next to each other, both demand. In fact, that's what I had here. The copper is being demanded, and there you go. It's now not. Why is it not taking the silicon? There you see. It's preferring to take all of the silicon over here. Which one is it? There you go. So this is basically full of silicon. And this is empty. Oh, that's the smelting. And that's empty. It doesn't appear to be any... Or I cannot understand the logic of how it decides where to take things. I'm really hoping we get some things to let us manage that ourselves. Even if it's like a circuit network style or, you know, something like that. Because, I mean, they've got to be working on a new version of this, because this is atrocious. I say it basically every week, but this is basically useless in my opinion. You know? It's like, it just doesn't really tell me anything. Because none of these numbers ever seem to match, and yet, you know, the system's working. It's like... Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Okay, see you later. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you learn what you need to, as it were, from the other streams. Right, so, how much plastic do I actually... And thank you very much... Oh, did you follow? I'm not sure if that was you. Because I've hidden over mine. Yes, you did. Thank you very much for the follow, if you're still there. It's good to hit that goal. So I put it in as a bit of a joke, to be honest with you. Always good to hit it. Right, so plastic then. So I would need, well, 4 labs making plastic. And to make plastic, they need both carbon and processed oil. Okay. So processed oil I'm going to make out of raw oil, aren't I? Okay. And I can just use the off run. Why does that... Oh, that's only... You can't... Yeah, the X-ray cracking, you can't well, you can't get free products. You can proliferate it, but you can't get free products out of it. It just speeds it up a bit. Okay, so how many labs do I actually want to put here? I guess we can just go with the 4, but this is the only source of plastic, though. So I'm thinking about overproducing it, to be honest with you. Yeah, okay. So we want that and that, don't we? Or am I going mad? Yeah, okay. Okay. And is it... If it's only 4... Well, let's put in... let's put in 6 machines. 6 labs, just to be able to cope with any delays. So if we do that one out of there, that one out of there, that one back there, and then leave a bit of space for proliferation. Put those in there. I actually want 6 though, don't I? So we want those 2. So extend the belts. There. No, one more, I think. Into there. Just there. Right. Okay. Put the inputs. Let's do in. Oops, out, and then out, in. This needs to be plastic. Then copy that down. Cool. Okay. And now we want proliferators on. Yeah, so I'll have to find another one where we can slip some, you know, proliferate. I could just drag it over, I guess, because it's not that far away, but it's something. Right, so that's the plastic one. So there's no alternate recipes on that or anything. The oil and the carbon. It's a bit more complicated though. So what I'm going to have to do is we're going to have hydrogen here. Oh, I haven't set up these at all, have I? Okay. So where's the... That's the end one, isn't it? So if we have purple science here, local demand and remote supply, and then we can use this one to be hydrogen. Well, yeah, let's put hydrogen there. So that becomes a local demand. I can always set up like a hydrogen burner, basically, just to get rid of it more than anything. In fact, it might not be a bad idea to have that anyway, because we're probably going to need quite a lot of power when this is properly up and running. There's quite a lot of machines. But yeah, we'll do that if we need to, sort of thing. If the whole thing grinds to a halt, then we can sort that out. Because say there's no way of me prioritising this source, this planet as a source. And I think that's wrong in a sense. Because I've got, I don't know how many gas giants. So there's a good chance that the game will just prioritise gas giants because it's there, as it were. I say, but that's kind of what I'm trying to work out with this whole playthrough. So if we're making... We want to make that. Because the question really is, do I do the alternate, you know, the extra cracking? Because if I'm just ordering in the carbon anyway... Because if I use the oil... Whoops. If I do that, if I... Oh, I didn't actually grab those machines, did I? Having ordered them in. So we can grab those. Because basically the problem with it, I mean, I say, what I used to like to do is the, you know, 2 in a row basically. So you do the basic cracking here, and that gives you your basic oil and the hydrogen, and then you do your X-ray cracking, which uses some of the hydrogen you're already making, and also, you know, some of the oil to make the graphite. Now, given we can't proliferate that recipe, well, we can, but we don't get extra product. We get speed, so, and I'm not fussed about that. Does that matter, basically? I think that's fine, isn't it? I could do a direct feed in. Could I? I mean, could I though? Because what I need to do basically is I need to have one doing oil, and that outputs that one and that one, and then I need another one. These are the wrong way around, really, aren't they? So this should be the oil one, really, and it's got hydrogen and processed oil. What I could do is we could have both, so we could have that be that be the proliferation, and then this is hydrogen, and this is graphite, maybe? So basically it's coming out of here as raw stuff. And I'm feeding that in there. I'm also taking the other hydrogen out and putting it in here, and then out there. Because I don't need to demand it then, but we could just supply it. Because I don't need the well, I do need the hydrogen, don't I? So maybe if this is hydrogen, then that can be a storage one. What difference would that make? I'm trying to second guess the logic basically, because we don't want that. We want the hydrogen here to be a, because we need the hydrogen basically to do this recipe, but it gives us more hydrogen which we need to get rid of. So we need one of these to be a storage so that we've got some hydrogen sort of kicking about that we can take out and send round the loop, and the other one to be a supply for the leftover, as it were, because we get more out than we need for the process. Okay. I think that makes some sense. It'll make more sense once I've put it all down. But we need loads of these now, so we need 19 of these. So I need a bit of space in case I do end up deciding proliferation's a good idea. But I don't think it is at the moment because it's just speed. And this is X-ray cracking. I'm going to say we need 19 of these. But we only need 2 in and 1 out, sort of thing. So we can have hydrogen coming from over here. Just trying to avoid. So hydrogen input. Oh, there's another output as well, isn't there, though? And then out of it would come, because we need light oil as well, refined oil as well, you see. Huh. Is that going to matter? I think I can probably just put, I don't think I need that, and that can just be a supply. And the belts will take it before. No, in fact I do need it there, because I need to feed it back again. Because we need hydrogen sort of going that way. So how am I going to cope with four things? I guess I could just turn it round. Oh, it's only got 3 on there. How do I want to do that? How do I want to do that? Because this is the input, isn't it? I mean, I could just have them all on one side, but they're going to be quite long. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's 15, isn't it? Maximum. It's 16, 17, 18, 19. That's a bit bonkers. It's quite a slow process though, that's why. Which is why cracking them is not necessarily a bad idea. But what does that get me? Because then I've still got a fourth thing. I mean, I could do an up and down. That's a bit weird. So we can have the oil coming out of there. Oops, why have you connected to there? Like that. And then the hydrogen basically, so this is the carbon output. Am I going to have to do something weird with splitters? I think I am, aren't I? Because what we can actually do, because if that's the hydrogen, we could put in and out on that lane and then stick it back in there. I then wouldn't have any hydrogen here, would I? Yeah, this is like the hydrogen coming back, basically. That's a bit strange. So we would then need... I couldn't do that, could I? Because... In fact, I could. No, I couldn't. Yeah, I don't think I can do this arrangement, can I? Oh well. I was hoping we might have them... Might be able to have them nice and compact, basically. But we can't. Oh well. Oh well. Let's lay plans and all. Right. Okay. Which is that? That's the... Yes, I need that one. So these two take in hydrogen. In fact, we can have the output there as well, can't we? So if that's also hydrogen coming that way. So these are doing X-ray cracking. I think I might angle these belts just because it looks a bit nicer. So that's the process stuff. That's the hydrogen from there. So we're going to end up with carbon that way. What we could do, I mean, we could feed the hydrogen sort of back this way for this one. Because we don't actually need that many directly. I say not that many, it's 11. It's quite a few. So if that one's making processing yeah, I think that'll be okay. So this one's doing the plasma one. So we need raw oil coming out of here. And that one needs a proliferation, so this one needs moving anyway. Wait. Why are you in the wrong place? So line that up with them. There. Okay, so it takes in raw oil. And then it outputs your processed oil and your hydrogen. Wait, why does that say processed oil? Why does that say hydrogen? So processed oil out there. So we're going to need... Well, we're going to need 11 in theory, but we'll put in 12. Right then. And that's the return. Oops, that's the return. So that's 5, 6. Now we want the same machine, but we need to slightly offset it. Yeah, we'll have room for proliferation there. So, proliferate that. Have I put one in here? I have. What's the lineup? So the lineup is there. There. So proliferate the oil. And then it pulls that in there. And outputs processed oil there. And hydrogen there. Okay, so copy this one down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, what happened there? Apparently the things get in the way. We're obviously at a different... Maybe if I do that. Yeah. 2, 4, 6. Okay, so they all process raw oil into processed oil and hydrogen. Hydrogen and processed oil then come out of here and get put into here. These are going to need to be offset as well, aren't they? So it goes in there, out of there. But that's the carbon going out. So then we want the same machine, slightly offset. Then we go in there, out, carbon there. And then hydrogen needs to come out for this one. And go in there. And we can just feed it in there rather than... I mean, we could hop it over, but... yeah, whatever. So we need hydrogen here as a supply. I think, yeah, we'll make this a storage so that there's more... because we're sort of recycling that round, if you see what I mean. So... you know. There's plenty of hydrogen going in there, which is only storage. So it's going around here. We could do something, as I say, fairly funky with splitters. Just to ensure that hydrogen goes into this one. I mean, if it wouldn't get stuck there, would it? Because we'd have hydrogen coming out of there. We've got that hydrogen there. There's no loop for it to go back in here. So eventually this is going to build up, isn't it? Yeah, I think this needs to loop back on itself. But we need how many of these? So we need... how many of these do we need? Let's have a look. We need 19 in theory. So that's 5, just 10. So we're going to need like 20. Oh, well, we'll put 20. So I have a strong feeling this is going to back up in an unfortunate way. So we could eventually have it loop back to this one, so it could come rather than mess about with splitters. 5, 10, 16, 17, what? 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll go with that one. That should be the same number. No, I want that belt. And not that one. Except that. That one needs to go back there. Oh, except I've just connected the wrong one. So... this one. No? Which is the hydrogen? The hydrogen is the closest one. Okay. Well, I could have this both input and output on the same thing, but there's not quite enough space for that. And also I do want it to cycle round so that we don't sort of run out of it either, if that makes sense. I don't think any of that makes sense, but it is what it is. Now at the moment I've got that there. How can I get that out? I guess I can just pull it out of this side here. And go, say, up there. Across there. And then for this one, come out of there. Go, oops, up a level. Why didn't that work? There we go. So that to that. Like that. And I said it didn't work across belts, but that looks pretty cool, I think. And roller cool wins. Right. So if we turn this on, what's going to happen? First we need some bots. Well, we don't really need them in that one, but we want demand there, demand there. We want supply there, but this wants to be demand. But only 200. This wants to be demand. We haven't got any oil on coming into this planet. Where was the other one with? So if we put this to oil, right, demand. So we've got 2 of each for those. So we should put another one for this. So it's carbons. So I'm sort of, I'm doubling it up from other supplies as well, Why have I got sulfuric acid coming? Huh. I don't remember adding that to anything. Huh. I'll have to check that. Direct demand on that. What have we got then? So we've got titanium. And we've got crude oil. So there's absolutely gallons of the stuff. Of all of them across all my different planets. Because I've been a busy little beaver getting those all exploited between streams. You're kidding me. You're saying that's too close? How is that too close? So, where can we put one that isn't up? We could go there. No, except it didn't work. Okay. And I can put one here then. Are you going to be happy with that? One there. Oh, come on. How is that colliding with other objects? Okay, let's not put it there then. Let's put it there. And then we can put one on this side. Cover these boys. And now I should be able to put one in here. There's some weird belt wrong way around thing here, isn't there? Is anything happening? Oh, well, something's happening. So you got... Are they all doing stuff? You don't appear to be doing stuff. Why not? Are you just slow? Okay. I know the feeling. I know the feeling. Oh, I've gone over time. Then I started late, didn't I? So we'll just get this running. See what's happening. So that's on a storage. Supplying that from the excess, because this isn't using all of that up. Not all of these are running. Why are you not running? Because you haven't got stuff. Have I messed... Oh, I've messed up the connections, haven't I? That's why. Oh, I've completely messed up. Let's get rid of all of them. And redo that. So what I should have been doing was hydrogen in. No, that should be an input, output. That should be an input. Well, at least the stream hasn't collapsed. There's a very distinct possibility. Last week's problem was all to do with the internet, because they've been doing some work basically on the broadbands and fibres and what have yous. I mean, they're still doing it. They're drilling in the streets and all sorts. They're completely upgrading it all, basically. As I understand it. And obviously at some point they end up having to switch something over, so there's about to be a little drop in the connection when they do that. Cool. So hydrogen is going out. We could put another one here to give even more of a buffer. But I say there's a real distinct possibility it'll just all sit here, because no other planet wants it. But we can then just put a hydrogen burner somewhere that's just getting rid of it. You know, just a whole load of thermal plants just to burn the hydrogen. I mean, we could convert it into, and when we do antimatter fuel and all that, we will have huge hydrogen demand, but we're not at that point yet. Right, so what's going on with the plastic side of life? Because what might actually happen is that backs up. Because this is demanding it. Might be better then if this was just a storage. And I directly insert it. I think that's probably going to be better, isn't it? Because then, can I rework that? So if I go up here, across to there, then I can just directly go in here. Because at the moment it's demanding it, and it's available in the interstellar one, and we don't want it to do that. We want it to use the carbon that it's making here. So you've not got any raw oil, so why is that? It's all going on the belts, I guess? Again, there may be the weirdness of the supply mechanism to cope with. This is plastic we want, not the carbon, really. We're not that fussed about that. Well, I suppose it is needed here, isn't it, somewhere? Isn't one of these? Oh. Yeah, there you go. It's alright if that's coming in across systems, I guess. I'm just wondering about belting this across, basically, instead of botting it. Will that even it up between the two? No idea. So there's no way of setting the logic, so these are going to be ending up preferred, I think, because it prefers belts over bots. And these will just keep hammering away until the carbon is full. I think eventually it will balance itself up, but I'm not convinced. Feels like I should add more of this, basically, just to help out a little bit. Yeah, let's do that then, because we can fit another one in. No problems. Let's pop just one more in on each side. That. No. That. Cool. Okay. So are we at least making some plastic? I think so. There's plastic there. Not a lot, but some. I mean, these are really slow, so it's like, doesn't that matter? So there's a bit in there, and it's got 63 in storage, so it's making some. Okay, so it's making some of them. Then we must be making purple cubes, and we are. Perfect timing. Cool. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. So hopefully those numbers are okay. I say this is the one I'm worried about, really. Because from what I can intuit, because I'm not supplying it off planet, am I? No. So just hydrogen and purple's going off. I don't know, it feels like there's a potential problem, essentially, with this backing up in an unfortunate way. Because I'm supplying it out of there. Look, the problem basically, I mean, maybe it'd be better to supply it out of there. The problem basically is because this requires carbon. No, not that one. One of them requires carbon. Wherever it is. That one. If all of it went in here... Although I was doing sulfuric acid. Okay, sort of. All of it was going in there. Then these guys will never stop producing, which means they'll never stop slooping away on the old processed oil, which then doesn't leave any for this guy. I suspect so demand is just exactly matching supply. I would look at this, but it's bobbins, so I'm not at all sure. So it's 120... No, look at the wrong thing. Just let me... I have no idea. Because my problem with it is it says that, so it's making twice as much plastic as it's consuming. But then you look at this, and it's basically empty. And then, okay, that is backing up. So maybe that's true. It doesn't feel true, because if it's backing up there, why is this belt not sort of at full, basically? I mean, none of these are running out. We are only at 119 a minute now. Flexing around. Do any of them run out? I do sometimes wonder if it's something to do with like the lab speed one, and you have to set it on the calculator. Well, I can't see the lights going out, even though these only arrive sort of late. Okay, I think we'll take that as purple side's done. So Monday then, I'll be starting a bit earlier, at 3 o'clock. So I'll put my schedule up. I haven't had a chance to edit it because I started this stream in a rush. But let's put my schedule up. So this is me, basically, Trismegistus, and I stream the weekends, essentially, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. On Fridays and Mondays, I stream Dyson Sphere Program, so this game. And usually start 3 o'clock on the Friday. A bit late today, as I say, because I was off doing things, because I'm on leave. Monday, I usually start at 5, which is after work, but... I'm on leave, so I will probably start early. Whether it's 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock was my original intention, but I didn't think we'd get Purple Science done today. I thought it might take a bit longer. Green Science is a bit more complicated because we also want to make warpers. So we want to overproduce the green and turn it into warpers, because we did get quite low with warpers, so we do need to set up that as an additional little bit of extra production. It's a really great recipe though. You get loads of warpers out of just like one cube, so... And I think proliferation gives you even more, so you know we shouldn't need to massively overproduce green, but we probably will, because that's just because what I'm doing. But yeah, so Monday stream will be presumably a bit longer. If we get the green science done, then we'll either start filling in some of the gaps of production we've not done, you know, the extra machines, or more likely we'll head back home, and I'll start making white cubes, and we'll also Because what we'll do when we do white cubes is we'll do the extra Dyson layers first, and then I'll kickstart all the Dyson production, you know, to fill in the extra layers, and then we'll do some of the other sciences. There's not a lot left, but we'll do the other sciences, and then we will be hopefully finished. Yeah, so tomorrow and Sunday I will be streaming Factorio. I will be playing Crashtorio definitely tomorrow. What I play on Sunday, I don't know. I'm not sure which series I'm going to do. I'm tempted to try and do the Aesthetics Factorio one again, because I've got a plan to do some of the designs for the aesthetic maybe, rather than actually build the factories. But I can show you what I've been doing as well. So I might well revive that, or I may just do Crashtorio again. I don't know, but yeah. So that's my schedule. If you wanted to catch up on this stream series, or any of my previous stream series, there's also Satisfactory, which is on hiatus. I'll pick that up after I've built this Dyson Sphere. But then you can find them all on my YouTube channel. It is Trismegistus, but it's alias to Triggles. So you'll need to look for either Triggles or Trismegistus, and you'll find me there. And there's also my Twitter if you wanted to catch. I just basically tweet when I'm going live, so you can catch up there. So I say, if you have been watching, thanks for doing so. We hope you've enjoyed it, and you might consider coming back for another one. I've been Trismegistus. This has been Dyson Sphere Program. Thanks for watching. Cheers.